and I'd like to entertain a motion to go into closed session for consider per KRS 61.8101F personnel. I got a Commissioner Hidden, second by Commissioner May. Please call the roll.
Mr. Weiler?
Yes.
Mr. Haddon? Yes. Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. May?
Yes.
Mayor Graham?
Yes, so now we'll go into closed session.
We carry something remote.
I'm going to miss that one on.
It is nice. Like
Tracks.
you have extra room down here.
I've got a player.
I don't know. I mean, like a good 8-track.
I might have one too.
One in my truck.
I'll bring you a pizza.
You went out.
Scrub what I was going to say.
Scratch that. Scratch that steak.
Scratch.
Can't read. Okay. I think I'm ready.
Ready? Okay. We're now back in open session, and I'd like to recognize Commissioner Wilder.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve the following order. The Board of Commissioners of the City of Frankfort hereby appoints Chief Mark Wilhoit to the position of Acting City Manager effective Monday, August 20th, 2012, with no change in compensation or benefits, while continuing to serve as Chief of Police of the City of Frankfort.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Turner, second. Is there discussion? Call the roll.
I have a discussion, sorry.
Oh, yes, excuse me.
I'm sorry,
Mr.
Mayor.
Hayden.
Just to say, I guess I could say this after I voted as well. I'm just going to go on and say it, that I do support Chief Wilhoit for stepping up. However, it was my own thought was that we would just hire someone and let our chief continue on with his own duties, and we would just hire someone else for an interim. But it is what it is.
Okay, thank you.
I guess I will note then that one of the reasons I'm so glad to see the chief step up to this is that it will save, not only will it save us a not insubstantial sum of money, but he also comes to the table with a deep understanding of city government and the ability to keep the wheels on the bus, so to speak, while we continue to search for a permanent city manager.
And I feel that we have in the community, Chief Wilhoit has a lot of people respect him and his opinions and things, and I think it's a good choice. So, okay, call the roll.
Commissioner Wilder?
Yes.
Commissioner Hayden? Yes. Commissioner Turner?
Yes.
Commissioner May?
Yes, Mayor, I'll explain my vote too. I agree that it's great to have someone from within the organization who can step up and have the continuity that will be very much needed in the next few weeks. So I'll vote yes.
Okay.
Mayor Graham?
Yes. So the order is approved. Okay. But I wanted to remove myself, and Commissioner Wilder will be taking over. I have a little back problem, so I've taken over. Okay.
Feel better. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, man.
The only other thing we need to discuss today is the process of filling this position on a more permanent basis. And to that end, I'd like to make a recommendation and then open this up to discussion. Commissioner Hedden made I think a valid point at our last meeting that this selection process shouldn't necessarily be taken unilaterally by this commission so close to the end of our term. when the makeup of the Board of Commissioners, one way or another, is going to change after the election. Because only 4 out of 5 members of the Board of Commissioners, including the mayor, obviously, are even running for re-election. So we know the makeup's going to change one way or the other. Having said that, these processes can take a long time, and I think we do have a responsibility to go ahead and get the ball rolling on this. So to that end, the recommendation would be that we dispense with the selection of a search firm. We saw from I guess one note on the decision we just made, we had 11 applicants. Most of the applicants obviously were external candidates. I'd say most of which were well qualified to serve as city managers. And I certainly don't know this for a fact, but I'd assume that a number of them would be interested in applying for the job on a permanent basis. But it's very clear that here in Frankfort, as the capital city, we have a deep well of qualified applicants with management experience, and particularly in government. And I think we just saw with Fred, with our outgoing city manager, that there's really a lot of value in having somebody in this position with ties to the location and to the region. It's just nice to have a city manager who's not just invested necessarily in their own career, but who has also invested in the community and in the area, and in seeing Frankfort become a better place. And that's, I think, one of the reasons we've all been so pleased with Fred's service. And so it seems that we could save some money by simply putting out a call for applications for permanent city manager position, putting out the call locally, regionally, and through relevant professional associations. Put out a call for 30 days, then we have, and by the time staff sort through the applicants and kind of weed out the qualified applicants from the unqualified applicants, by that point the election will have rolled around, and we will have elected a new Board of Commissioners. And at that point we can include the newly elected officials in on the interview and selection process. And that would I think that would allow for a rather seamless transition from this commission to the next, and would allow the next commission to come into office with a city manager that they're comfortable with and that they've helped select, and somebody who hopefully has had time to get installed, and so that everybody can just hit the ground running in January and start governing without having to go through this whole big long process. So I think that can be a real gift we pass along to the next commission, while not abandoning our responsibility to keep this ball rolling. Otherwise it could take even up to, if we just sit on the interim position, not only do I not think the chief would be that happy if we don't start looking for his replacement sooner rather than later, but that could, if we just wait for the next commission to get the ball rolling on this, and I'm not sure that serves their best interest to come into office without having either a permanent city manager recently selected or ready to select. Anyway, that's what we got. We definitely need to know whether or not we want to hire a national search firm, though. We should need to figure that out today. Yeah.
I think that one of the things that I've done over the last week since Commissioner Head's suggestion is really thought about it. But I think what Commissioner Wilder is proposing is a fair compromise. One of the things that I want to make sure that we're able to do is incorporate public opinion on what they are and what type of leader they're looking for. So within that process, as outlined, one of the areas that I would like to see us do is to hold a public meeting or at least devote a line item on our work session to allow the public to come in, tell us, what qualities they're looking for in a city manager, what type of direction do they want to see that city manager take this community. I think that's going to be important for us and even the next commission and all of staff in making this decision to move this community forward. So I would request that we hold something, some sort of public forum or a line item on the agenda, one of our agendas, to allow public comment on it.
I think that's a fair idea, and that would also give other candidates for this office and for the mayor's office to kind of sound off with their input and opinions even before the election itself. I do want to thank Commissioner Hedden for for raising the genesis of this concept and for suggesting that we do either turn this decision over to the next commission or at least incorporate them into the process. I think that was a good suggestion.
As for getting a search firm pro tem, I don't think it's necessary to do that. I don't think we need to have them show up.
I would agree that we can try to advertise the position with the various trade publications and regional and local methods and come up with some decent, with some qualified candidates.
And not to say that the people that already applied, we had some very qualified candidates that did put in.
Absolutely, and
I think each and every one of them.
Well, and I really hope that that they'll keep their names in the hat for this permanent position. I do think it's important that we re-advertise because I'm sure there are probably some other qualified folks who might be interested in the permanent position who didn't advertise or who missed the deadline to respond. So I think it'd be good to keep the net open a little longer. But we did have some folks apply who I think would do a fine job, and I really hope they keep their hats in the ring. So it sounds like we do have a consensus then to not
Correct.
to not call in the search firms. And
I'll notify them if they're not needed for the September 10th meeting. That way, I'll send it out today so they've got plenty of notice.
okay, and I guess you're also authorized to go ahead and start to get the ball rolling on advertising for the permanent position. And it sounds like we also have a consensus to add public comment to a future work session. I guess I would suggest doing that in October.
Probably a good idea. That way we have our ducks in a row in terms of what we're looking for.
Great. Well, unless anybody has anything else related to this subject, I'm happy to entertain a motion for adjournment.
Mayor Pro Tem, I move for adjournment.
Second.
Bill, second. Clerk, please call roll.
Commissioner Hadden?
Yes?
Commissioner Turner?
Yes.
Commissioner Day?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilder?
Yes, we are adjourned. He's cool. He's all chubby. The pictures it's right when he was 4, so he obviously is already.
I'm going to go see the dogs.
He's 11.
Perhaps coming in.
The afternoon dogs.
Hey, we'll such a day. Would you consider coming?
After your 5:30, pictures on here somewhere. There they are.
You know, just.
Oh, yeah, I would consider that.
Consider it.
I mean, would we have a little